Hello, Brian. We're here at the Best of the West camp, and how do you like it? What were your expectations, and how did it come out? How did it turn out?
Being this is my first exposure with DAV here in Germany, the history that I have learned of the DAV is that it's a very big organization. It's a long-standing organization, and usually when you have those types of factors come into play, it's usually very well run. It's very heavily supported. We had expectations that it was going to be a big event. It is a very big event, very successful. In short, I had very high expectations, and they were all met. But what made it a very good camp was the energy, because some events are very well run, but the energy isn't there. The genuine aspect, it all depends on the people that are at the event. These people, the DAV, were very sincere. They were really willing to learn. So not only did their energy take this camp to a very high level, but it was very well run, very well organized. It flowed. Can you always make an event better? Sure, but I would have a hard time finding something that didn't go right with this event. It was very well run, and congratulations to Dieter and Sven and all of the DAV committee that put this together. They really, bottom line, they met all my expectations and then some.
Okay, so you've answered the questions. What do you think of the DAV already? What do you think of the Modern Arnis that we practice here in the DAV?
I find I'm very familiar with most of it, but some of it looks a little different. But Dieter and I, of course, we've said for years, it is all the same, but it is a little different. Some of the techniques, some of the drills are slightly different, but it is clearly of the same origin. The interesting, watching the test on Friday, there's a follow-through on almost everything they do, which is very, very important. Executing a technique or a drill is one thing, but when they execute their most of their techniques, there's always a follow-up. They don't leave it hanging there, and that is very, very important. But there is a tremendous amount of material in that 3 hours. They literally worked all of 3 hours, and they were busy the 3 hours. You have to cover an amazing amount of material in that time. So I find that the system is very thorough. I find it very similar to what I've been doing, which I was spoiled because I had Grandmaster Preisas for 20 years. His art is interwoven throughout everything that they are doing. And you can see there's an influence from other sources, but all well within the same family. So, the phrase that Dieter and I have used all these years, it is all the same, but it is a little different. It rings true because DAV has their own little flavor, but it is still very much incorporated from the Modern Arnis, the Combatant, and the Preisas family.
Okay. Tell me, what do you think of the experience of the last 10 years in Modern Arnis, and what do you expect of the next 10 years of Modern Arnis?
The last 10 years were the first 10 years without the professor. The mark of a grandmaster really comes to light once they pass. We all had some growing pains. We had to go through getting adjusted to life without the professor, and yet trying to continue his work and spread his art. So it's been a big adjustment period for us for these last 10 years. But now that we're getting used to, and for some people it took many years to get used to not having the professor, but now the heads of the clans are coming together. This is the second major event where that has taken place. And now that we're getting up and running and used to post-Professor Preisas, now we can start focusing and supporting one another and continuing to grow as potentially separate groups. But we all have the same goal in mind, at least it seems to me, and that is to grow this art and spread this art, whether it's under DAV or IMAF or Preisas Arnis, MA8, it doesn't matter. We are learning and growing together, but yet we are doing it as individuals and as separate groups. But the unity is becoming very obvious. So I have very high expectations of everyone now that the adjustment has taken place. Now it's time. We are now together and staying together. There are strength in numbers. So I have very high expectations of the next 10 years.
Brian, it was a pleasure to have you here. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Dieter.